Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Property Doctor Podcast with me, your host, Dr Andrew Threadgold. This week we've got Michelle Gaffaney-Webb on the pod. She's a fantastic lady with a really interesting story. Michelle's originally from Bedford and she's been all around the world building houses, learning all about different structural techniques and ways of doing things before returning back to the UK and setting up her own architectural and project management service for people that want to build their own developments. She's done some fantastic stuff of her own, not least of which is her apart hotel, which is doing great guns down in Goole in Yorkshire. So, without further ado, let's get on with the show. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the Property Doctor Podcast with me, your host, Dr Andrew Threadgold. This week, we've got another fabulous female entrepreneur, somebody that's got a very long history steeped in property and construction, and somebody that is very close to my heart with the stuff that she gets into in terms of apart hotels and serviced accommodation. So I'm really looking forward to learning a lot more about Michelle here and finding out how she produces such wonderful products. So before we go any further, how are you doing, Michelle?
Good, thank you. Enjoying this weather. It's wonderful.
Wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. And I've just sprung this on you, so I'm sorry for...
I thought we were just having a chat.
And well, we are just having a chat, but nobody listens anyway, so don't worry.
Okay.
So tell me about your background before you ended up getting into property, because I know that you've been around construction and stuff for a while. So how did you end up where you are at the minute?
I left school in 87 and I've wanted to be a vet for years, going right back. So I wanted to be a vet I volunteered in a vet's where I used to live for several years. Did my O-levels, biology, chemistry, physics and everything. And then basically in the last year of school completely changed tack, and I've always drawn. My family on my paternal side have always been done a lot of drawing. I used to draw house plans out actually. When we had our first computer was a Texas Instruments. It was just DOS. There were no graphics. And we had this haunted house game, and I used to draw it out. And after a few goes, I'd map the whole house out. So that was, I was probably, I don't know, 13, 14 or something. And then basically, I ended up dairy farming. I worked on a dairy farm for 18 months. I used to milk 250 cows twice a day.
Wow.
With
machines, I hope.
It was, yeah, it was. And tractor driving and all sorts. And that was good fun. And went to college and did A-level biology in college at night and an agricultural course. And then just after about 18 months, had enough of that. I used to do 12 days on and 2 days off and get £50 for 7 days work.
Wow.
It was good fun. It was nice. It was good fun. And then saw a job for an apprenticeship for structural and civil engineering. So I started that. I went and had the interview and got the job. Didn't get the job before that. There was actually another one. This is 88, 89.
Right.
And in the interview got asked, so I was 18 time, got asked when I was planning to settle down, when was I planning to have children, did I have a boyfriend? So that was a sign of the times, I think, and didn't know any better at 18. But then went for another interview, got that, and did 5 years of a structural and civil engineering apprenticeship. Went to college, day release, ONC, HNC in civil and structural engineering. Wow. But within a few months of starting that, a friend was a architectural designer, and I started working for him on the weekends and things, and realised I actually probably preferred architecture, but carried on. And then in 92, left the engineering and went self-employed in 92. Right when we had a crash, recession. But by 99, ended up working for 6 major house builders.
Wow.
doing their overflow work, Barrett's and Taylor Woodrow and all sorts. Wimpy, worked for Wimpy Homes at the time. It was Wimpy Homes at the time, um, and um, yeah, I worked from home, had quite a good business. I did work, yeah, worked for quite a few architectural design firms or architects practices,
Doing
and
the
there's a
calcs
lot
for
of
them
work
and
around.
stuff, or
Sorry.
was it doing the calcs for them, or
No, I wasn't doing any engineering by that time. I got put off by structural analysis and decided I would rather draw. So it was all commercial and residential architecture work.
was it right?
Yeah, no, from 92 to 99, I just did architecture work.
Wow.
Um, and did do a little bit for a structural engineering firm actually. And then got married and moved to the States and lived in Michigan for a bit.
Right.
Ended up working for a development construction firm out there. Worked on quite a few interesting projects. Project in China. I was the Canada liaison because I was in Michigan on the border with the US, with the US and Canada, and they were working my husband at the time was working for a museum fabrication company, and the fabrication was made in the US, but a lot of the design was done in Canada. So
Right.
that was metric, and the US was imperial. So I was on CAD in imperial, and having to be the
The
sort of
translator.
yeah, make sure everything worked out. And then we moved to New Zealand, and lived in New Zealand from late 2001, almost 2022 until 2005, and then
Wow.
worked for some architects in New Zealand, in the South Island, and did a little bit for a structural engineer there as well. Really
Wow.
enjoyed that. And then in 2005, I had my son. He was born in New Zealand. Had my son in 2004. We moved back here in 2005, and I've been here since. And I set up my company the year after, 2006, Greenstone Design. And yeah, I've had my own company since then.
That's
And
amazing.
that's architecture, interior design, and project management.
What I mean, what a story. I'm really thrilled and to a point envious when I hear about people that have lived and worked in various places. Because I think it must be such an experience to be
Yeah,
able to take your skills and apply them in different
New,
environments.
New Zealand's the same as it's the same codes, same building regulations, same documents,
Right.
literally the same documents, except you've got an earthquake code. So there's additional code, but a lot of construction is very, very similar. A lot of timber frame, but I'd done that in the States. Done that. Everything in the States was timber frame. So
Wow. Well, just as you were chatting, I wrote down there. I wonder what the differences are. Well, hopefully, if you can tell me if there are any differences between the way we build things in the UK versus America, because I just get the impression from watching, you know, social media and TikTok and all the rest of it that when a strong breeze hits in America, everything gets flattened, whereas in the UK, our stuff seems to stand up for a while.
yeah, I mean, everything's timber frame. Most things are timber frame there. Certainly in Michigan, they were. We had a lot of in Michigan, you had basements, and those were concrete or masonry, mostly concrete. But yeah, timber frame and siding, or I was doing SIPs then, structurally insulated panels, and
Right.
it was only, that was in 2000, 2001. I was doing SIPs construction in the States, and I didn't do it here until 2016.
Mm,
And it's still new, fairly new here as well.
mm,
But yeah, there are differences. But in Michigan, it was insulate. Everywhere's different there, so there's not a national code. There's a code for almost each county, let
right.
alone each state. So there would be various permits and various changes depending what county you were working in within the state, because it's, I guess, just obviously the immense scale of it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, installation. I had to do a English pub in someone's basement, which was not like an English pub. I didn't know any English pubs that looked like that. That was a 9,000 square foot house, and they wanted
Wow.
an English pub in the basement. So I was like, well, you can drill that, you know all that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It looks, in fact, I can imagine a very Americanized, what
It
they
was,
imagine an English pub to be.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the modern, they call it the modern method of construction, don't they? Some of the stuff we do quite a bit of stuff with our builds out of either timber frames or rolled steel sections,
Yeah,
built off site, delivered. You bolt them together. But then if you try and find build-ups for, what makes building regs for insulation requirements and U values and the thermal envelope and all the rest of it, it seems like it's such a specialist area that very few people want to put the neck out and say this is the
yeah,
build up that you need to do. Whereas
yeah.
across other, in other parts of the world, it's quite common to use this stuff, isn't it? We,
It
we
is.
seem to be quite
Yeah.
backwards in that regard.
Yeah, I've designed a few and sort of drawn up a few timber framed options here, but people are were so wary of it. I mean, it is, obviously the SIPs it's becoming a bit more popular, and but even for extensions, sometimes it's you can build a lighter weight extension in timber here, and people just don't seem to want to do it.
Mm,
That's been my experience anyway.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, getting your insulation values right, and obviously ventilation as well. Um, but
yeah. Have you
yeah,
used any of those methods on your own stuff?
what SIPs?
Yeah,
Yeah, in 2014, I designed 5 houses, and my partner built them in Linthwaite in Huddersfield.
right.
3-story houses, 3-story homes, 5-bedroom SIPS homes, and people loved them. The one of the We sold them all straight away. I mean, that was with a company that was fairly new at the time, and they're quite a big company now. But you obviously people say it's so much quicker with SIPs. It is once you're on site, but you've got to know that you need to order it 3 months in advance. So
Mm,
the design process is longer, but then once you hit site, it's quicker. And so the 3-story homes we had, obviously we built up to DPC level, block and beam floor, and then walls, first floor, walls, second floor, and roof on in 10 days
well,
for a
yeah,
5-bedroom house. So,
yeah.
that's just
Frighteningly
it.
quick, isn't
And
it?
then you can start on the inside while you're doing the outside. So that's where you then gain time on site.
Yeah, we
Uh,
started at our first experience of using it was to put a big hip to gable dormer on top of a bungalow, and that was cold rolled steel sections that got delivered to site and bolted on, and it was the idea, the premise was brilliant, but we found that even though it was measured off site and it was all CAD designed and delivered, there are still some adjustments that needed to be made, and it was really difficult because it was metal. So for the next one after that, we used timber for the dormer, and we used the steel frames for ground floor extensions. Um, and it's so much, that was the perfect combination because you can adjust timber and make slight adjustments if you need to get fit right, but on the ground floor extensions it seemed to work much better. Shallow foundations because there's not as much weight,
yeah,
and you can have a full extension up and watertight in a couple of days, can't you? So
yeah. So what do you infill that with? Because is that the one you did on the coast?
we've done it. We've done 4 in the last kind of 18 months.
Right.
So one's on the coast, which is it's a holiday property for people with disabilities. That
That's
was
the one I
the
remember seeing. You did a presentation on quite some
Yeah,
time ago.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So that
yeah,
that was the first one with that was the steel frame for the dormer, and then the extension on that one was block and brick basically, and it took forever to build the extension compared to putting the roof on, and then the after that we did this one here, a place called Rosebery, where we took the roof off it, and that was a timber top, and then a metal section. That house had massive subsidence, so it was quite handy because we dug all the trenches out anyway, to underpin it with concrete and put
Mm.
like few hundred kilos of steel in just to open it and stabilize it, and then open the back out and put the steel extension on. But yeah, the first one is never as good as it could be. You try your best, and then
you learn, don't you? You
yeah,
learn.
exactly. And you refine what works for you and what works for your team as well. Because all for us, our team, I've slowly collected them over the years.
Yeah.
And they've got various skills, and most of them are multi-trade, but they're not, sometimes you'll get a real expert in a particular area or someone that's got real experience, and we've not got one particular person that's got that. We've got a few kind of multi-skilled, very highly skilled in lots of areas, but not one specific trade,
Yeah.
so to speak. So picking the solution that fit our team was also quite important, and you just learn that process as you go along, really.
Yeah.
I found you did.
No, you do. I think it takes years to build, like you say, totally agree. It takes years to build up a good team and people you can work with, and they know how you work and you know how they work, and you sort of evolve together, I think.
Yeah, and there's more than enough times when the toys get thrown out of the pram, and but keeping
It's
everybody on
stressful.
side. Oh, isn't it just? Yeah.
Construction is so stressful.
Yeah,
It's
we've never done a big scheme the way you describe. You sound like you've done some big old schemes.
no, well, they're not. The most I've ever done is 10 houses at one time.
That sounds like
Um,
a big scheme to me, though.
well, it's not. I mean, there's people doing with blimey. It's a small development.
Yeah, I know. There's big, there's people doing hundreds and thousands
Yeah,
of
there
units,
is.
isn't there? But
Yeah, it's the most I did. We started off with five, and we did few four and five, four and five, and then 10, and that seemed a huge jump. But then it was like it's not. You just got to break it down. It's the same thing. I find new builds easier than renovations because you know what you're dealing. Once you've got out of the ground, you know what you're dealing with.
yeah,
And you've always normally done you've always done your ground investigation. So depending where you are, it's you know whether you're the Linthwaite one we had to pile. So that was all dealt with, by geotechnical engineers. We had knotweed on that site as well, so that was
right,
interesting.
yeah,
So we had to deal with that first. So that was interesting one. And then we've done the 10 houses in West Yorkshire in Halifax that we did. And that was started on site in 2019. And that was the one I was saying that we ended up doing through COVID. But the foundations there for 10 houses cost £55,000,
right,
which is nothing for foundations because we were onto rock.
right,
Um,
okay,
and we had, I think the foundations were like 400 mil deep or 500 mil deep, which is nothing.
yeah,
I'm from Bedfordshire, and when I was doing the civil and structural engineering, that's London clay. We would regularly be down several meters and underpinning. I did a lot of underpinning jobs where we were underpinning to 4 meters depth,
right,
um,
wow, dear me.
which up here it's in Yorkshire, it's very different.
Yeah, I mean, 4 meters seems like very, very deep. I don't
Yeah,
think I've ever gone. 2 meters is the furthest down we've ever had to go with anything.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and those developments are they for you? Are they your personal developments that
And
you
they were
kept,
with
or
my, yeah, no, they were with my partner. We sold those, well, he sold those. And yeah, they were 10 5-bedroom homes that we built during COVID. We'd literally, the week COVID hit, I'd ordered in all the stone. Thankfully, I'd ordered in all the stone and we stockpiled materials. And then we were having to guard materials because
I
there was like
bet
this
you
black
were.
market in materials and
Yeah,
plaster. And it
100
was,
quid for a bag of plaster and stuff.
I
It was
know,
stupid, wasn't
I know it
it?
was. Um, and so sorry. Um, but yeah, those got sold. So those we then won uh, um, the Insider property. We won Residential Development of the Year for that for
Wow.
2020. For under 50 builds for so that was good.
Mm.
That was nice. And yeah, they've turned into lovely homes. Planted nearly 50 trees, 45, I think 45 trees, nearly 50 trees on the site.
Wow.
There were 3 big beech trees, and that was about it.
Wow.
So that's nice to see that now. Go back. I actually went back last week and just had a look and see all the trees growing, and it looks good. I'm
Yeah,
pleased
when
with
it's
that.
matured a bit, I suppose
Yeah,
it's
it
it
does.
looks a lot different now, does it?
Having that vision that, it's gonna look like in 5, 10 years time.
Yeah, I bet that's wonderful actually.
Yeah.
And do you still do your own developments then?
Yeah. I haven't done any developments, so I've got into, the investing. I've never invested.
Right.
So I started, I literally just over 2 years ago, put an offer in on my first apart hotel project, and I've now got a second one underway.
And the apart hotel is the Briarcroft.
Yes, yeah, in
Yeah.
Gould. Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
I've been looking at I mean some of the images of it look absolutely
Thank you.
phenomenal, like really superb. How's it going?
Good, yeah. Just had literally a booking an hour ago, so we're full tonight. We were full last night,
Wow.
so it's good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going really well. We're getting some really nice feedback.
So
So,
the how many bedrooms per apartment have you got?
well, it's 16 bedroom hotel. So it was eight when I bought it. It'd been a hotel for 40 years.
Right.
And eight bedrooms, but then three rooms were owners accommodation. Three additional rooms were owners accommodation, and they used to be hotel rooms. And then there was a huge function space out the back, that people had used, 1980s sort of block extension rectangular thing.
Yeah.
And so we've converted that. So it's that's sort of underway. That's almost finished. So it's no, it's going well. It's going well.
Yeah.
It's been open since last June. So
Wonderful. Yeah.
closed it
Fair
for.
play to you, because it's not an easy trade, the hotel trade in any way,
No,
shape, or form.
I've it's maybe a case of jumping in the deep end again, which I tend to do. The whole Richard Branson thing, just say yes and figure it out
Yeah,
later.
yeah, that's it.
It literally was. And it's going well. I've got a fantastic team. I've got the housekeeper that's there, Cheryl, has been there 6 years, 7 years now. So she stayed on and she's incredible. And then we've got some other three other housekeepers. And then I've got three admin team. And
Right.
it's all remote access. So it's automated, fully
Yeah.
automated. 11 of the rooms have kitchens, all en suite, and then five rooms don't have kitchens, but they have like a guest kitchen, quite a large guest kitchen. If they want to use that, they can.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
a fully equipped kitchen. So, and then we're on site. I was on site yesterday in Hebden Bridge. We've got our second one started, which I'm doing with a business partner.
Wonderful. Similar vibe, similar size.
It is, and bizarrely, it's 16 bedrooms again. Yes, and
Right.
it's a bar downstairs. It was a bar and eight letting rooms, and we're through again transforming the owner's accommodation and a couple of rooms in the roof, making 16 bedrooms, and that's quite a stunning building. That's an 1887, quite a stunning stone building with a turret and all sorts.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Amazing.
yeah.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message. The Property Doctor podcast is sponsored by SSY Security. Now, SSY is one of my companies and it's based in Norwich in Norfolk. We do bespoke fire, CCTV and access, that's fobs and retinal scanning and fingerprint scans for all sorts of industries, particularly industries where compliance matters. So, for example, food manufacturing, where if your cameras are down, you can no longer produce your goods until the camera is rectified. So, if you are looking for compliance ready, zero downtime security systems for your business, or if you are a property person that develops in and around Norwich or East Anglia, Ipswich, Cambridge, Peterborough, we cover all those areas, then please reach out to us and we can help you with all your security requirements. Back to the
Yeah.
show. And
No,
how did you come across these buildings then?
They were Rightmove. I know everyone says don't go
Really?
on
Yeah, yeah.
Rightmove. Yeah, yeah. We both were on Rightmove. And like, you know, bizarrely, it's how I found the developments as well. So whether it's just, the Goole one, when I said I was looking at Goole, everyone looked at me like I was mad. But I lived nearby, and it's huge. Goole is changing. It's got huge potential. It's a bit like Hull and Liverpool and things where people put them down a little bit, and they're amazing places in the potential, and they've become incredible places, and that's what's happening in Goole. There's lots of stuff happening there.
Right.
Siemens moved in, the European company. They're
Hmm.
building all London underground trains, and there's loads of huge amount of industry moving in. The ports there, it's England's largest inland port, so we get ships captains there, and all sorts. So it's
Yeah.
but we
It
get a lot of
really
tourists.
it really helps when there's industry coming in, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, and
similar
that's
to
part
yeah.
of the research I'd done, on the area. You do your start out and look at your research and different things. So
Yeah, qualify the
um,
area before you
yeah,
commit
yeah,
you. Yeah, fantastic.
yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, I- I've got a little bee in my bonnet at the minute about refinancing hotels. So our hotel, we're coming up to refinance it. Finding lenders for hotels is really tough. Did you have any problems financing it?
I
Or
I haven't refinanced it yet, so I'm
right?
about to. But I've been told that yeah, there's a few lined up.
Oh, really?
So I'm
Right.
quite confident. Yeah, so I'll ping you some info on that
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah. Please do. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we're finding that. So ours is 23 bedroom.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, we're finding that the general kind of feeling is that people, most lenders don't like hotels um, unless they're kind of 25 bedrooms and above. And the ones that don't mind hotels 25 bedrooms and below will take a view on its income,
Yeah.
give you a multiple of its income as the value, but only lend up to 50% of that value.
I have been told that, yes. I haven't been told about the 50%, but I have been told about the projected cash flow.
Yeah,
Um,
which means
right.
it's quite. It depends on how well you're doing, I suppose. But in our position, we took this hotel on. Our hotel was failing. Basically, it was being run on a shoestring. We had one person, the hotel manager, who was responsible for doing all the cleaning and running the hotel.
Oh, wow.
And so when she had 23 turnovers, she was spending 5 minutes per room and not,
I'm gonna say
this is
you can't do that.
no, exactly. And this is before we took it on. So the reviews were abysmal, but we saw the potential in it, which is why we thought, well, there's something here. It just needs some love and attention,
Yeah,
um, and so now that we're coming up to refinance it, our bookings are improving. Our occupancy's improving. Reviews have been brilliant since we've done the work to it, but it's not a true reflection of how it will perform because
yeah,
we've not had long enough yet to get those numbers. Do you see what I mean?
yeah.
So it
I
means
think the first year's an anomaly, isn't it?
yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So it's going to be it's an exercise in, will somebody kind of see the trajectory it's on? Will they take a view on it? Will
Yeah,
it be a capital comparison basis? Will they just compare it to something similar nearby and give us a inverted commas bricks and mortar valuation, which isn't really a
yeah,
thing, but um, so that this whole thing's going to be a learning experience for us.
yeah. I had that similar when I was looking at the finance originally, because there aren't any hotels nearby.
Right.
So it got compared to ones in Hull, which is, vastly different. And the figures they gave me eventually were based on an HMO.
Right.
And it's not an HMO. And it was just like,
No.
well, we've got nothing else to compare it to. So that's what we're using.
Yeah, yeah, it's bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
How they can do
Quite
it. Yeah,
frustrating.
when we first bought it, when it got valued when we first bought it, they were using hotel comparisons that were over 100 miles away. Um, you just wonder where
Yeah.
they pluck these things out. But yeah, it's an
Where is
interesting.
your hotel?
It's a place called Seaton Carew, which is Did you ever hear of? Did you ever? I don't know if you watch much telly, but there was a program called "The Thief, His Wife, and the Canoe" on ITV,
No.
and it was about a guy called John Darwin,
Oh,
who
I know the story. Yeah,
do you know
yeah,
the story? Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
do. I remember that.
yeah. So John Darwin is from Seaton Carew, and
Oh,
that's why Seaton's it's quite well known. We actually have um, a house in the same row that John Darwin lived in. And
oh,
it's one of our serviced accommodation units. The uh, it's called the Canoeists Hideaway, is what we've called it. And
in Panama.
it's lovely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Um, so Seaton's right on the seaside. When you try and do you draw like a radius, a
Yeah,
circle around it for its catchment area. 50% of the catchment
yeah.
area is fish.
Got to
So
say, yeah,
you've got to factor that in. But no, it's lovely. Like I say, the reviews were abysmal when we took it on. The beds were 7 years old, but when they were bought 7 years previously, they were second hand then off Facebook Marketplace.
oh
So we
no,
took the beds out and you could fold the mattresses into quarters. They were that bad. The poor manager, she was fighting a losing battle. She was told not to spend anything. If a fridge broke, it got moved to the side of the bed as a bedside table, and then another second-hand fridge for the room brought in. So it was really badly run. 200 plus years old. We've got a postcard from 1800, where it was known as the Georgian Dragon. As a Victorian place that people and horse and carriages used to come past and park up and stay in it. So
oh wow,
it's got heritage.
that's
Um,
lovely.
yeah, and it survived the war. The other buildings around it got bombed in the war, but that one remained standing. There's tunnels under it, under the village green,
Oh
that
wow,
they were excavating last summer. So it's fabulous. It really is.
yeah,
It's just a shame that it ended up kind of going a bit. It got a bit of a bad reputation because of how it was being run. But
yeah.
we've changed all that. Everything's brand new.
Did
Fully
you change
refurbished.
the branding?
Yeah. We've had to. And because of what it was, we ended up the customers were essentially contractors working in the area who didn't care as long as they had a roof over their head.
Yeah,
And it was very, very cheap. Got this hostel tag rather than hotel.
right.
um, and so the occupancy was quite good, but it was low nightly rates,
Yeah,
and the reviews were abysmal. So a massive piece of work on fully renovating it, new furniture, new beds, new fixtures and fittings, um, kind of styling it, rebranding it, increasing the nightly rates once the reviews have come in.
yeah,
Trying to attract a different customer and not be on a race to the bottom in terms of price, because you'll always have a Premier Inn that can undercut you, always, because they've got the scale to do it. Whereas if you've got some sort of boutique, independent hotel, you've got to maximize your assets. And for us,
yeah.
it's heritage and the fact that it's got unparalleled views from almost every room, because
Um,
it is directly on the beach and
oh wow,
looks
oh
over the
lovely.
sea. So
Yeah.
yeah, but then
Oh,
in the off season, your occupancy goes down, and you wonder if it'll ever come back again. And the whole thing that you get with running
yeah, it was quite
hospitality stuff.
nerve-wracking this Christmas because that was my first Christmas, and literally we were full every week up, and we had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights which were full, and they still are now. So it's really weird. So and then it drops off again Thursday, Friday,
Right?
and then we've been full the last few Saturdays, which we weren't last year. But now suddenly we get more tourists than I thought we would get.
Right.
Um, but
Do you
yeah,
how do you where do your customers come from?
geographically,
No, in
or
terms of is it booking, Airbnb, direct?
it's probably I'd say 60% booking.com, 40% Expedia, and then the rest is a mix between direct and few others, Trip, Agoda, and all
Hmm.
sorts. Um, and we're slowly increasing the direct bookings.
How are you doing that? What are you doing to?
We've got quite a few local companies that have sort of works in the area and things like that, and the port with the captains, they're more, they're back time and time again. We've got quite a few repeat customers, and they always want the same room as well, because every
Right.
room's, I made a rod for my own back in a way. Every room is different, which is great from one point of view, but then it's a sort of logistics nightmare and snagging nightmare and housekeeping and sort of
Yeah.
every trying. We've got procedures like photographs of every room, how every room's meant to be. But no, they're yeah, mostly coming through Booking.com, Expedia. But I have the software we use obviously tells you where they come from in the world as well.
Right.
And so an awful lot from Europe, Netherlands, Belgium, Scandinavia, Greece.
Wow.
And then we've had the odd few from China, Saudi Arabia, and it's all work related.
Yeah.
Uh,
All coming to Google,
yeah, yeah, no, it's
eh?
but we're on we I've put well, we're still putting it in actually, put a bike store in, but we do have people come on cycling tours. So we've had quite a few people with bikes and people doing biking tours from Europe across to England. And coming across on the ferry across to Hull, and then they stop with us on the way
Right.
or the
That's
way back.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, which I didn't
Fascinating.
expect either.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Um,
the reason I'm asking about where you customers come from is because it it became quite clear to us after a couple of years of running service accommodation that really to be and it's transformed what we do in terms of our profitability is the your customer information, your customer data is absolutely the most valuable thing you can get because
mhm.
if you can turn people use Booking and Airbnb as your reach
Yeah,
and
Airbnb as well. Yeah, yeah,
your advertising spend because they've got you cannot compete with their reach in terms of their advertising, so they can we classify we write that spend off almost that commission off as advertising spend, but once they come capturing their data because it's hidden when they come through Booking or Air, they'll give you an email address, but it's a disguised email address and it's
yeah,
always a Booking.com email address, so
yeah,
that when you communicate with them, you're stuck with that. So there's a big piece of work um, in getting their data when they turn up, and there's
yeah,
lots of different ways to do it. But then you end up building a database that you can then target. So if you get
yeah,
their actual email address, however you get them to give it to you, and then you can target them with newsletters or stuff like that, and eventually that pays dividends because they will come back and book direct once they know that they can.
yeah,
And then obviously your margins improve by 15 to 20% if you're not paying the booking or Airbnb fees. So
yeah,
it's getting them, first couple of years, fine, get them through Air and Booking, but it's about capturing the data and then you
yeah.
can target the individual and give them a reason to book direct. So we typically give them 5-10% off because we're still making 10% more.
We've done similar. We've done sort of 10, I think 10% discount if you book with us and sort of book repeatedly with us or block. We have some guests who book. A couple of them will book. We need to come 4 times in the next few months, and they'll just book the whole, the 4 bookings at that one time. So
yeah,
we'll give them a decent discount for that. And
Yeah, it's about capturing, and I'm finding it in businesses as well. So across my businesses, it's a philosophy that I'm quite slow sometimes to learn, but it's something that I'm realizing that you've got to really capture your customers and get their details because think of a restaurant. How many times do you go into a restaurant? You go in, you pay for your meal, and you leave, and they've got no idea who you are, where you come from, and they make no effort to get your details and bring you back again.
yeah,
So they're just losing revenue all the time, and almost every restaurant's the same. But if you look at the big people like Nando's and these kind of more
mm,
global businesses, they get you on their app so that they can capture your data. And
yeah,
imagine if your local restaurant it took 2 minutes. The front house staff took 2 minutes to find out a little bit about you, give you something, a free glass of wine in exchange for your email address, so that they
yeah,
could then market to you directly and get you, even if it was once every 6 weeks, there was an offer, a free bottle of wine if you come in, you'd have
Yeah.
more, they would retain more customers. And it's the same in hospitality, no matter what it is, service. This, like I say, I'm learning this all the time with our other businesses. No matter what you're doing, keeping your customers engaged, because it's easier to get money from a customer that's already a customer than it is to
Yes.
acquire a new one. So you've got to capture the data for your customers, whether it's your hotel or your service units or whatever it is. And so that's something sounding like I'm on my soapbox here. And it's
No,
probably teaching you to suck eggs,
no,
but
not at all. No, there's
it's
always, it's always, and it's loads of stuff to, constantly learning, like you said. We've do newsletters. So we
excellent.
get people to sign up, ask people to sign up for a newsletter and do like a monthly newsletter of what, just what's going on in the area, what we're doing. And
Yeah. Yeah. And whatever it is that you can do to get it, we typically, so we send automated messages to all our guests, and it doesn't matter what platform they come through. Our channel manager sends out automated messages, and in the message, it gives them a phone number to text rather than to get the messages through Airbnb or whatever. So that instead they text us, and then the messaging switches onto text. And so when they check out, they get a message saying, book back, messages on this number or go to our website. This is the discount code. So we get them off the platform as quickly as we can.
yeah,
Because I was speaking to somebody yesterday actually, who very fantastic service accommodation operator, does really high end stuff. And she was saying that she's just been given a final warning for Airbnb,
oh,
because somebody asked her, are your properties on any other platforms? And she replied, yes, we've got our own website. And Airbnb, the AI scanned that and sent her a warning. If you ever say anything like this again, we will delist all your properties from Airbnb.
really?
Yeah, so it's you've got to get them off the platform to talk to them as quickly as you can. Frightening.
Oh,
But
funny.
there we go. That's I think these big online travel agents, especially especially Airbnb, really they treat their assets badly, considering without the properties they wouldn't have any income. But there we go.
Yeah. I mean, Expedia always surprises me because they take a month to pay.
Right. We don't
Yeah.
get much from Expedia, thankfully.
No, we get quite a lot. I'm quite surprised. It's almost 50-50 between Expedia and Booking.com. But Booking.com pay out every week, and Expedia, they pay out 28 days or 30 days.
Wow.
So that's
Yeah, that's no good, is it?
no, I
Yeah.
don't see a reason. I can't understand why.
Mm.
Because they're getting paid straight away.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
They're sitting
At
on
the
your
time
money
of
for,
booking, most often. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Are they, what channel manager do you use?
Little Hotelier.
Okay. Yeah. We used to use Little Hotelier. With Little Hotelier, you can, there's a setting, or maybe you have to ask the OTA, but I'm sure you can ask Expedia and Agoda and Booking, for e e credit cards. So
Right.
when the client checks in, Agoda and Expedia will give you a credit card number that you can process through Little Hotelier at the time of check-in, and then it stops you having to wait 30 days to get paid.
Oh, I'll have a look at that. I've not heard of that. Need
Mm,
to do that. And yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
We used to do that. The trouble with that is that you then get an invoice from whatever the provider is with their
Mm.
commission. So you get paid gross, but then you've got to pay your commission back separately.
Yeah. And Booking.com, that's what we do with Booking.com.
You do the same with Booking, do you?
Yeah, they bill you once a month for your commission.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you use the e-credit card with Booking or not?
No, I don't actually. No, well, that's
Yeah.
something I'll look at. No, I mean, I'm still learning every day. It's a whole new industry. I've never been in hospitality, so it's
Yeah, the whole thing's interesting. There's lots of little facets that you can go
oh
down
yeah.
with it. So, with the e-credit card things, if a lot of your revenue, the way you draw your money into the business comes through e-credit cards or credit cards, if you've got you can get a WorldPay virtual terminal,
Mhm.
or a card machine at the desk. but it's automated, isn't it? But if you've got a WorldPay virtual terminal that takes the payments, once you've got a trading history, then you can get merchant advance. So if you ever run into a cash flow problem, you can get lending that
Right.
against your turnover,
Yeah.
and they take it as a small percentage of each card
No,
transaction moving
I
forward.
have seen people offering it. I've seen Booking.com offering that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a variation on the same theme. So it's and merchant advances and things like that are great ways to finance if you're buying a business, for example. So if you've got a trading business with a great record of, and it's credit worthy and they take a lot of card payments, and one of the options available to somebody that's trying to buy a business to raise the finances, you can get a merchant advance against
Oh,
turnover through the card machines. And it can be hundreds of thousands of pounds depending on how much goes through the machines.
right. Wow. I didn't know that. I'm looking,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's a whole new thing with buying businesses.
Yeah. So you come into the talk, are you?
I am, yes. I can't wait actually. I'm looking forward to that. Something else I've been looking at.
I'll have to figure out what I'm going to say then in that case. But yeah, so yeah, if I can help you with any of that stuff, you know, you've got a great product, and I'm sure that you're doing absolutely perfectly. But if there's anything that I can help with,
No,
just
no
let me know. I'm
problem.
quite happy to share my mistakes. They're probably as valuable as anything that I've learned. So
No, no. I mean, I'm definitely interested. Thank you. It's
yeah.
good. Good.
So what's next for you then?
Well, we've got this second apart hotel underway, so that should be opening hopefully November, December. And then n- I've got a few things I'd like to do. I don't want to do just apart hotels. I would like to open a few more. But I'm interested in later living. I'm interested in what you're doing with the whole accessibility with
Mm,
that's, I mean, we've got quite a few ground floor rooms. That's been interesting because they're not able to be sort of walk-in showers or, fully accessible showers, but it's good to have ground floor rooms because not many places do.
mm,
Um, and yeah, all sorts really. Have a look, see what's out there.
yeah. You're
I've
not
got, I've
slowing
got
down then.
No, I've got Greenstone. Greenstone is really busy. That's the architectural firm, and then my property firm is Northern Lion and Waith Hotels. So it's running it all at the moment. It's busy.
Yeah. Do you have any staff then in terms of
Um,
your design firm and stuff?
I bring staff in as I need them. I've got admin staff, and then I've got someone I worked with for years, Phil in building regs, technical stuff. I'm old school. Actually still got my drawing board that I got in '87. Um, um, but so I learned CAD in '92, and I'm 2D. I've never gone into 3D stuff. So I'm very sort of so I yeah have someone who does a lot of my 3D for me and work with me for that. But yeah, it's good. I love
Yeah.
designing. I mean, yeah, I still love doing what I do. It's
Yeah.
nice.
I
It's
saw
just
I'm not sure if it was a project you did for somebody else, but it looked like a kitchen extension that was for somebody that was in a wheelchair.
yes,
That
yeah,
what an absolutely anybody that's listening,
yeah.
check it out. I think I saw it on your socials. Where would somebody be able to go to look at your work?
It was on, I think, Instagram and Facebook, but yes, it was designed. We actually turned the living room into the kitchen. So they didn't use the living room, and it was 6 meters by 10 meter living room. So it was a substantial living room.
Mm,
But we transformed it into the kitchen and then built this sort of curved banquet seating in with the pedestal table. So yeah, and had a lift put in as well, a lift off the hallway. We It was quite an old home, and it had lots of small rooms. So we literally opened up the whole of downstairs, a new staircase in, and then created a lobby for a lift. And the lift went from the hallway up into the daughter's bedroom.
right.
So
Yeah.
she, because so sort of really been able to bring us into the family. It was because it was very difficult before, no
Yeah.
lift and
Yeah, I mean, those things are sometimes lifesavers or life transformers for people when they can
yeah,
integrate the person with the challenges into the family more, aren't they? I mean, but that just the images of it that I've seen, it looks absolutely phenomenal, and
yeah,
genuinely, I think the stuff that we produce is really good. But that particular kitchen and the way it was designed for, and you couldn't tell it was for somebody with an accessibility thing, but those that know would see that it was accessible.
yeah,
And I think that's exactly where it needs to be.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
So I know I'm really impressed with that.
Thank you.
I strongly recommend anybody have a look at Michelle's website or Michelle's socials to see this kind of stuff that you make, because it's really impressive.
Thank you. It's I've actually got a call with some people very soon. I've just realised the time.
All right.
Another Zoom call. It caught me out because I thought we were only having a chat. I love doing the concept design. So I've done I for clients I normally do 2 concept designs after I've spent considerable time with them. And for this client last week, I did 3 because I sort of get on a roll and think about. But that's I love doing that, and it's about learning about the family and what their wants and likes and dislikes are, and how they use the room. What is their routine? How do they go about their day? What do they do in the week? What do they do in the weekend? Where do they like to sit? And all things like that. And
Yeah.
that's how I come up with. And I, it's like I say, since the late 80s, that's what I still do. I love it. Absolutely
Yeah,
love
wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Well, I'm conscious that you've got another call. I think we need to continue our conversation over various messengers.
it. Yeah, that'd be good.
And I'll
Look
obviously
forward to it.
I'll be speaking to you again, no doubt, sometime soon. But
Yeah.
for those listening, where can people find you?
Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, all the social media.
All right, I'll put some links
Easy
into the
methods.
show notes. But yeah,
And
absolutely
website,
phenomenal.
obviously.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time, Michelle.
No,
And
thank you.
apologies
Thank
to
you. It's
spring a
been lovely.
podcast on you so like this,
No, it's
but
been great. I've loved it, actually. It's been really good fun.